Hey guys, welcome to the
D
and Q
experience.
Which the experience is sleeping right now.
Experiencing sleep. There we go.
Before we get into today's video, guys, thank you so much for clicking on today's video. We know why you're here because you clicked on it because of the title. Yeah, so we're gonna jump right into it, guys. No need for a long intro because it's a long story.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna try to cut it short as possible.
Yeah, but if you guys do stick with us through the whole video, thank you in advance. I don't know if I'm gonna stick through the whole video. I'm playing. But thank you in advance, guys. And if you're not subscribed, check out some other videos and then consider subscribing if you enjoy what you see, and give this video a thumbs up because we're here to tell the story
or experience.
Our experience.
Yeah.
And if you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, you know what to do. Leave those in the comment section below.
Exactly.
All right, guys. So we're gonna get started. And first of all, as the title says, we had COVID.
Unfortunately. And it sucks.
We're gonna get into that. However, we had COVID at the exact same time, and we had completely opposite experiences.
So we'll go with the simple experience.
I'm not a simple experience.
We'll go with her experience.
Okay, guys. So I'm gonna try to give timelines. Everything is really like foggy because literally I don't know how it happened, when it happened, how it started, when it ended, none of that. I just know I tested positive and that was it. Basically, I'm gonna give a rough estimate. I'm gonna say on February 16th or 17th, one of those days, I had a little cough and I was like, a little runny nose. I took some Mucinex and I went to sleep. I was good. The next day, I felt better. I didn't really feel like, I just felt like I had a regular cold and that was it. When did you start?
On Wednesday. Whichever day she started, I started the next day.
Okay.
And I remember she gave it to me. I was kissing her. She's like, I'm sick, don't kiss me. You remember?
So if you would have died, you would blame me?
I'd be dead.
Go ahead.
So the following day, I started coughing, flu-like symptoms, basically. I then developed a fever, low-grade fever, as they would say. That was the same week of the 16th. We said, you know what? We were supposed to go on a trip on the 26th? 25th. We were supposed to go on a trip on the 25th. We got tested the Saturday.
No. Don't leave out no pieces. Another one of our family members started to feel sick.
Like the day.
Probably the same day as him.
The same day as me.
Or same day as me. We don't know what days.
But we're not in the same household.
Exactly. We're not in the same household. Point is, they actually went to the hospital because they had additional symptoms.
Yeah.
And that's where they found out they tested positive. So then we were like...
The Saturday.
Yeah. We were like, should we test?
Yeah.
Thought it was just a little cold.
We were at church.
We were at church when they found out they tested positive too. The Sunday after that, we was like, well, we are going... Like, right by that time, I was fine.
She was good.
I was good. You was good too. We were just tired. Yeah. We was like, we are going on a trip on the 25th, so we'll be responsible to test, right?
Right.
So we tested on the Sunday, which was I'm looking at the calendar. So we tested on the Sunday, which is the 21st.
Right.
For precaution, just to make sure
that everything
is fine. Because
flu-like symptoms.
Yeah, and I felt great. I felt regular. Tested positive. And we were like...
We were in the drive-through lane for Dunkin' Donuts.
I'm addicted to coffee. My Cashapp is love you want to buy me coffee.
She's addicted to coffee, as she said. And the moment we both got our results, it was like...
Forget it. We drove
Let's get out of this line. We got out of the line. We came home.
So when we came home after getting our positive results, we got a call like 2 seconds later from the health department.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't answer unknown numbers. Quanda does not answer. I don't care who you are. I'm not looking for a job. And all of my immediate members, family members, live with me. So Quanda, don't answer unknown numbers.
Even if it's through text.
No, I'm not answering the text. But I answered it, and I'm like, hello. And she's like, hi, this is blank blank from the health department, yada, yada, yada. You tested positive, yada, yada. When you test positive, they call you to, like, get information, tracing information, to try to figure out when, where, who, what, why, which makes no sense to us because
we don't know.
You're not going to know. You cannot know. But they ask you when you start having symptoms, what kind of symptoms, all this stuff.
Tell you when you should be fine.
Correct. I told her that information. I'm like, oh, I started on Tuesday, Wednesday, I think. I had a cough, a little runny nose. That's it. She said, okay. They tell you it's 14 days, right, to stay quarantined. But homegirl tells me 10 days from the day you had your first symptom, you're good to go. You can come out of quarantine. But then she gave me a date of, it wasn't even 10 days. It was like 8 days later. Yeah. She gave me that date. And I'm like, huh? And then she tells me, yes, you have to quarantine, but if you need to leave the house and go out in public, just wear your mask. So they're going around telling people
to leave their house
with COVID, if you need to leave the house, just wear your mask. So like I said, I didn't have no symptoms. So if you saw me, you want to know that if I had to go out in the streets for real.
No, just a little additional information. Her mom is one of the persons that they would say high risk, extremely high risk. We have her mom at our home. We have our kids at our home. We have my mom, her dad. That's everyone that have been in contact with us for the entire week.
Every day
that
of
we
our
were
life.
having flu-like symptoms. Of course, we call them. We say, hey, we tested positive.
Yeah, before we came back in the house.
Before we even came back into the house. We came in, we started just social distancing from everybody, keeping ourselves away. I started to worry now because the day before, my son, he has his times that he'll be all over me, jumping on me, hugging me and all of that. He chose that day to do it. I was not worried about him. We told them that they needed to go get tested, which they did.
They all came back negative.
They all came back negative.
And they avoided us for 2 weeks. Well, for me. Even though I was straight, but we get into that. They avoided me for 2 weeks.
She was good at this point.
Came home after getting the results, and we was like, instantly I was sick again. I was tired. We took like a nap. We was gone for the whole day. Now, we're going to get a little graphic in about 2 seconds, but I took my nap, and in the middle of my nap, I jumped up out of my sleep, and I had to run to the toilet. I had diarrhea. I was in there, and it was just coming out. And I tell you, if you ever had a kid, and you give birth to your kid, you know how the contractions and the pain instantly stops? Well, for me, it did. Yeah, the sickness was gone after I got all that out, and I was like, oh, back to normal. But I still wasn't allowed to come out the room because this guy.
It wasn't the same thing for me.
It was not the same.
I still had a fever. I still had slight flu-like symptoms on that Wednesday. No, this all happened on the Sunday leading up to the Wednesday. She was fine after the Sunday. The Wednesday I woke up, or in the evening, I'm like, I still have this fever. It's been going on for days now. I'm going to go to the hospital. I went to the hospital. They, of course, gave me another COVID test. They gave me antibiotics. They gave me everything that they would give to lower someone's fever and reduce whatever symptoms there are of COVID. I went home that Thursday morning. I was fine. I'm like, yo, whatever they gave me, it worked. No fever, no headache, no coughing, no runny nose, nothing.
I was like, cool, we back on track.
We back on track. We just need to stay away from everybody for the rest of the time until we test negative.
And this was Wednesday. You went. So you came on Thursday morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thursday morning I came home.
So he came on Thursday morning. And then it was a normal day. Yada. And then Friday, I was like, I'm going to go retest because I want to get out the room. And I was good. I've been good. I want to get out this room. So I went and retested on Friday by myself. My rapid test was just the nose. Came back negative.
And then the swab.
And then the mouth swab came back a few days later negative. But that took forever to come back. Mm-hmm. But then I get woken up out of my sleep on Saturday
morning. So Friday night, I had a low-grade fever again. But I'm like, I'm not going to pay it any mind. I didn't do anything much. I went to sleep, woke up Saturday morning, and I could not breathe. Like, it was a complete switch in terms of symptoms between Friday night and Saturday morning. What my mom works in the hospital, so she bought an that thing that tests your
oximeter.
That thing that tests your oxygen that you put on your finger. I can't call the name now. When I checked my oxygen, normally my oxygen level was like, the days before my oxygen level was like 98, 99. That day, my oxygen level was at 92, Saturday morning. I couldn't breathe. I kept coughing nonstop. Woke her up. I need to go to the hospital right now. She brought me there. It was extremely difficult to even tell the nurse exactly what was happening to me. I got into the emergency room. I got a bed. It took probably like an hour. And in that time frame, having a mask on, it just started getting worse and worse. My coughing started increasing. When I cough, I lose more oxygen. It was, there's no way to explain it more than saying it was just horrible. When I got a bed, the nurse checked my oxygen level and said, "You need oxygen immediately." I'm like, duh.
Really, Sherlock.
So she gave me what's that? I'm gonna put a picture of it. So I had that oxygen that they have in the hospital. Why can't I remember the name of stuff now? Anyway, so I had that on. My oxygen level went back to 97. Gave me antibiotics. I was strung up, both arms. They took 12 vials of blood, and then they came back and told me, "Oh, we are going to have to admit you, get you a bed, and you have to do a 5-day treatment."
Which is called?
Remdesivir. Remdesivir. Whichever. Put the name there. Immediately my heart dropped because I've never had an experience in which I had to stay in the hospital for an extended period of time.
The Damion and Quanda experience.
And immediately I started thinking of people who have had to be admitted into the hospital. And for how I was feeling, I literally felt like I was dying. Got on the hospital floor, they started the treatment. Between day 1 in the hospital, I was in the hospital for 6 days. Between day 1 and day 4, the worst experience I've ever had in my life. I will never wish it on anyone. It was embarrassing, it was degrading, it was everything that you could think of that's bad. I went into the hospital. She packed a bag for me, sent it with my mom because I just went in, never had any additional clothes or anything. I tried getting up off the bed to change my clothes, and immediately the rooms was starting to spin and I lost oxygen, even with the air that they were giving me. I could not do anything for myself, including going to the bathroom. I had to urinate in a container that they gave because I could not walk to the bathroom. The moment I sat up on my bed, it felt as if that was it. I'm going to die. I stayed lying down, stayed just relaxed in a relaxed position, not lying on my back, trying not to lie on my back. Couldn't sleep at night. I didn't eat for the entire about 4 days. I didn't eat. Day 5, they came and they were like, oh, we're going to check you to see if, okay, being that the treatment is finished now, if your oxygen level has increased. They took the oxygen off me and tested my oxygen level. It went from 97 to 82 in under a second. Immediately I started to cough. They had to put it back. During the time that I was there, 6 vials of blood drawn twice a day. I was constantly on an IV drip. Needles were just going into my body. I had blood drawn from here, and then after day 3, they started taking it from somewhere down here, and then they went back here, and then they came to this arm. It was all over the place. On day 5, they said, we are going to release you with oxygen. I'm like, as long as I can go home, because at that point I was in deep depression. I was snapping at everybody, wasn't answering calls, wasn't answering messages. It was just a horrible situation for me mentally and emotionally. They said, oh, we're gonna send you home. I was extremely happy at that moment. So happy that I found the strength to get up, go to the bathroom myself, change, and was able to walk around a little. They came back to me the end of that day and were like, oh, we're sorry, you're not gonna get to go home today. I'm like, are you serious? At this point in time, every single hope that I had was completely crushed, because I was expecting. I called her, I'm like, hey, I'm coming home, be prepared to come and pick me up, everything. They're like, oh, we can't send you home today because the insurance as well as the social worker there at the hospital, they're trying to figure out the insurance paying for the oxygen for me to go home.
Somebody got to pay for it.
Somebody got to pay for it. And I had to suffer the consequences of them waiting.
Is your insurance?
Day 6, they came to me that morning. The nurse was like, hey, backtrack. Day 5, they took out the IV. They took everything out. They're like, oh, we're done. We're going to send you home. So at this point, I'm like, okay, there's no more tests to be done. Day 6, at around 10 o'clock in the morning, a nurse comes in and she's like, hey, we need to draw blood again. I'm like, why do you need to draw blood again? Oh, the doctor just says we need to run some more tests. I'm like, yesterday you said the tests were fine. I don't want any more blood drawn. I was tired. I was snapping at the nurses. The nurse came over to me and whispered, hey, you can't deny it. Once you say I deny, decline. The declines. Why did I say deny? Decline the procedure.
Which is anything
we
else
can't do it.
You can decline.
So I'm like, hey, I decline it. And she's like, okay, I'll just tell the doctor. About half an hour later, a respiratory tech came in and said, we need to check your oxygen level again. Back and forth persons are coming in. We need to check your oxygen level again. We need to walk around the floor without the oxygen on while monitoring your oxygen level for 15 minutes. I'm like, I'm ready. And I have no idea where I got the strength from. I think it was the fact that I just didn't want to spend one more day there. I walked around and my oxygen level did not drop. The day before, it dropped from 97 all the way down to 82. Within under a second. That day, it went down, but it went down to like 94, between 94 and 95. And that was okay for me to go home. That respiratory tech said, you don't need any oxygen to go home. We're just going to discharge you right now. I came home, but that was not the end of it. I still have post-COVID symptoms. I had light sensitivity for about 4 days. I couldn't open my eyes when I woke up in the morning. It was extremely bright. I currently have joint pains. I still have shortness of breath. Those were the 3 major things that I had. My personal care doctors basically said, just gotta wait it out and see how it goes. So I'm considered, by their standards, one of the long haulers. I don't know how long it's gonna go on for.
No, I don't know. I can't tell you. I can't relate.
Yeah, I'm just At this point, I'm just managing whatever's happening and hope nothing new pops up. Don't play with COVID. It's not easy. You may experience it how she did. You may experience it how I did, or it could be worse. So
you never know.
You never know
which one you're gonna get.
And I'm not one with underlying conditions. I'm rarely sick. I didn't think that it would affect me that much.
No, but you got it kind of better than me, because the fact that I had it and I felt great. Every day I'm like, do I have it today? Because I feel great. So I'm like, I don't know if I got it every day. And I don't want to pass it to nobody else.
But just to wrap it up, it was me, my dad, my stepmom, 2 of my sisters, and my little brother. 7.
And me.
Oh, yeah.
Really? I'm last between all of us.
It was 7 of us that had it. 14.
At the same time.
At the same time. I was the only one that got hospitalized.
Yeah, but everyone had some type of symptom.
Yeah.
He's just the only one that got hospitalized. So everyone except me. But yeah, guys. So we had COVID. We're still here. Thank you, Jesus. I've lost someone to COVID, so don't lose anybody else. So you guys, wear your mask, wash your hands, social distance. Like, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
We did all of that. Even though we did all of that and still got it.
Still caught it. If you're going to catch it, you're going to catch it.
If you're going to catch it,
just don't go
do
looking
everything
for
you
it.
can. Exactly. Do everything you can to not catch it. Because like I said, you could be the one that gets no symptoms and you're fine, great.
Yeah.
But then if you give it to someone else that gets symptoms, and then they're not fine.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to say to whomever that O positive platelet owner is, thank you.
Oh, yeah, he had to get that.
I had to get platelets too.
Konnichiwa, okay? It's funny now, but it wasn't funny back then.
At all.
But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. If you made it this far, give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this. If you're happy that we are here and healthy, or he's here and healthy because he went through the drama, go ahead, leave a thumbs up. And leave a comment if you have any questions, comments, concerns.
If we can answer them, we will. If we can't, then we can direct you to where the answer is.
I don't know about all that, but if I can answer it, I will. I don't know about extra work. Google is your second best friend.
There you go. It works.
We can answer the question. Until next time, guys.
Thank you for watching.
Oh, I feel it tonight. There's something inside that I can't ignore. Oh, I feel